All right.
Hey, yo, the music's. Why is the music? Oh, hey, yo, it's 5, man. Hey, Connor, go get Austin.
Austin.
I need him here right now. Do his.
Austin,
oh,
we're
Austin,
starting.
Do your radio voice right now.
What the?
Your voice.
okay.
When we practice. Do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats, fasten your seatbelts, and start your radios.
All right, guys. So we're on TV and everything too, right?
Just don't tell us what you're doing, please.
Yeah.
Hey, but hey, get ready. Fasten your seatbelts.
About the
'Cause you
TV?
know where you are. You know where you're about to step into.
Are we about to start?
You tell them.
No, we're not. We're not on TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have entered the pit. Politically incorrect truth.
How about you?
Yeah, it's about to go down.
My name's Rick, and you're tuning in to the 10th episode of The Pit. I'm here sitting with my co-host and producer for today, Austin Patterson.
Yes, sir. That is me. That's
is
my
him.
name.
Should we introduce our guest next?
Yes. Today in house we got two guests.
One's a guest, one's a resident.
Yeah, I don't think my microphone's on. Hello.
Yours is on.
We can hear you.
Our guest
sounds weird.
being hailing from Shy City, the Windy City.
That's right.
You know, don't put ketchup on your hot dog.
Never.
Matt Cook.
Hi, I'm Matt Cook. Yes, I'm from Chicago. And yes, you never put ketchup on your hot dog. Ever.
How do you say that hot dog
Yeah.
again?
A hot dog.
Hot dog.
I
Do
love.
you want some water?
You drink. You eat the
I
hot
would
dog
like a
with
glass
your,
of water.
What?
And our
awesome.
resident / guest for today, Mackay Dunlap.
Mackay Dunlap, a long requested
Long.
guest
Yes.
on the show.
Yeah, I had to get paid. I was on a holdout.
He's not getting paid.
He's still not getting paid.
I better get paid then.
No. Nothing
42%, Austin.
We're on the 10th episode.
Yeah, this is how we do it right here. Yeah.
So, tell us quick about your guys' self. Quick political outlook.
Okay. In terms of politics,
Just like where you side.
yeah. Well, with Chicago, growing up in Chicago, it's one of the most liberal cities in the United States.
That's
so
what I've heard.
I'm extremely, extremely liberal.
Okay.
staying true. Staying
Okay.
true.
How
The
about your
loony left.
Oh, how about yourself, Mackay?
I have to say I'm kind of conservative.
Kinda?
over here.
How are you?
There you
How
go.
can you be kind of conservative?
The same way you can be kind of liberal.
That's all you get from Mackay. That's it.
Sound of yourself as a libertarian. I don't know. I might be
Maybe.
crazy. Anyway,
Change my mind, Cook.
so
Yeah, I will.
Cook, you got today in history, right?
That's right.
I've heard.
So, in addition to being from Chicago, I am also happen to be a type 1 diabetic.
Wow.
Which
Wow.
brings us to our today in history today, which
So, this means a little something close to you right
this
now.
does. It does mean something close to me. I would like to promote this as much as I can. But today is actually Happy World Diabetes Day to everyone out there.
Oh, wow.
Because
Wow.
today,
That's pretty cool.
yeah. In 1921, Frederick Banting discovered insulin, which was a monumental discovery. It definitely kept me alive. Amazing, how many lives he saved throughout history, or he will continue to save. And his birthday is November 14th. So in honor of him, they have designated November 14th as National Diabetes Day.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow,
cool.
that's pretty big.
A little bit of today in history for you right there. That's
Yeah.
it. We don't have anything else. I don't think. We're just that was the big
That's
thing.
a pretty big one.
That's a huge thing. That's really big, dude.
Yeah. That's
What do you
kinda cool.
celebrate with?
Well,
Do you eat vegetables? Or
Like-
is that what we do?
I don't know about the celebration.
Do you test yourself one more time for courtesy of
Oh
him?
yeah. You gotta do it. Just hey, Happy World Diabetes Day.
Yeah.
I'll do one more.
One more.
No,
One for the good guy up there.
no. Actually,
Or do you just test random people? Like you tested Rick
You could
that
test
one
random
time.
people. I did test
That's a
Rick.
good story.
He freaked
One
out.
time.
Yeah, tell
I
him
was
about
very
that
scared.
story.
Okay, so Rick,
This
you
was
know,
hilarious.
The host you know and love. We were eating breakfast, right? And I pulled out my meter. I tested my sugar, and then Rick, saw some interest in it, and he was like, "Oh, can you test me?" So I was like, "Okay, yeah, we'll test him."
This is
And
so funny.
Rick had just eaten what was it, French toast?
I just had
and
like syrup on my fingers.
and he had syrup on his fingers. And I don't know if you know, but if you're a diabetic, or if you're not diabetic, a good range for your blood sugar to be would probably be between 70 and 130.
And what was mine?
I think yours was, what was it, 295?
Yeah, it was something outrageous. He
295.
looked at me like, what the hell? What is it? Are you okay?
So I thought we were taking Rick to the we thought we were calling an ambulance right then and there.
Well, exact
Cook
words
thought,
were like,
Cook
we
thought
need to
that.
take you to the hospital right now.
yeah,
Test it
we
one
had
more time.
we had to play a game that afternoon too. But I was like, this can't wait.
No, the best part was, so Cook's freaking out, and I'm like, Cook, you need to chill. And Rick, even if he is, like, let's say it was $2.94, he just continued eating the cereal and French toast.
I was just laughing at him. I was like, man, we're cool. I'm pretty sure that's a bad reading. Like, there's no way.
Yeah,
I'm
so-
a pretty healthy individual.
Yeah. So we wiped off his finger. We tested again, and it was like 105. Or
Yeah,
something,
it was
so.
something cool, and you're like, whew. like a worried mom just figured out everything's gonna be okay.
Oh, I was worried. Yeah.
But appreciate
new
it.
mom.
That's the story of the day for today in history. Also,
Yeah, that's right.
well,
That's
so
hilarious.
as everyone knows, something big just happened in American history.
Yeah, let's before we get into the total thing, does anybody have anything that's pushing them around that's not involving the election?
Yes, or anything dealing with that.
The Chicago Bears lost.
Okay.
It's pretty bad
That's not new.
Yeah, one of your wide receivers got suspended.
for PED.
You know,
It happens to be our best
should have been
wide
using
receiver.
to the steroids.
The Bears' outlook on the season does not look good.
Are you guys playing to lose for a good draft pick at this point?
No, we're not. Honestly,
Why not?
hear me out. But if we win out the rest of the season, the next 7 games in a row, we could go 9-7.
Let me ask you a
and make the
question.
playoffs.
What are you? Let me
That's
ask you,
7 games. That's more than the last 2 years combined.
let me poke something at you real quick. Who was the tight end? The Bennett brother who played for you guys?
Martellus Bennett.
How do you feel about him calling the Bears a bunch of beesies?
I did not like that. I did not feel good about that.
Do you think he's saying the right thing?
I think he talked a lot about the guys last year, and I think we brought in almost an entirely new defense, especially with the core players that we're bringing in. A couple of big names is Danny Trevathan and Jarrell Freeman. So we brought in a lot of new, well-known defensemen.
What about the quarterback question mark?
Well, Jay Cutler also happens to be the only type 1 diabetic in the NFL.
Cook's got this list of diabetic facts.
That is right,
fun
and he
facts,
has my
man.
undivided love and support.
Wow, you sound a little biased on multiple ends of this.
I'm extremely biased. He's my hero.
Okay, Matt Cook, you heard it first. Jay Cutler, 2020.
That's right. He should be the starting quarterback of the Bears and the next president of the United States.
All right.
Yeah.
Anybody else got anything that's non-politically that's pushing you around?
Cutler actually did back Donald Trump in the presidency.
Okay.
Wow, your hero.
An announcement.
Bro,
Yeah.
you're hard.
Yeah, that one kind of hurt a little bit.
That's the smartest thing he's done all season.
Makai is our instigator,
We're
by the
getting
way.
there.
If
We're
anybody
getting there.
hasn't known that.
I just
Other
like
than-
dropping bombs and seeing people get all frustrated.
Riled up.
Makai, you got anything that's pushing you around today?
Matt Cook is currently beating me in fantasy football.
Okay, that's a pretty legitimate reason.
Who's your quarterback?
Well, this week I had to start Ryan Tannehill
Ah,
because
see, that's-
Derek Carr was on a bye.
See, you got... Okay, that's just one of those weeks. Everyone has those weeks. It happens. It happened to me last week. I had 2 guys on buys, and I didn't even know. And one got scratched at the last minute. The running back for the Redskins. Put him in thinking, he's going to give me 15. Literally, 10 minutes going in the game, scratched.
Dang.
Don't do
Wow.
that.
Yeah, that's not
I
cool.
lost.
To say anything else.
I lost.
Ugh.
Actually, my defense that I picked up this week scored 24 points.
Who was it?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Who? They played a...
The Bears.
Everything's
Sorry.
came in
Played
full
the Bears.
circle today.
I don't know
That's
what's
awesome.
going on with fantasy football, but I love it. I've never had a bad day.
Screw
You
you,
need
you
to put
double
some-
kicker.
My first year ever playing, man. This is freaking awesome.
You drafted 2 kickers.
They called him crazy.
People are upset, but we just keep moving on around.
Yeah, moving on.
I think.
Wait, hold
we
on.
should move on to
Can I
something
finish the story about why he drafted 2 kickers? He drafted Gostowski, and he thought it was Gronkowski.
Yeah, I will
That's how much
admit
Austin
that.
knows about football.
But that's just Austin's luck.
It would have backfired on everybody.
Everybody.
Anyways,
Anyway, so
to
what's
move on.
What's on for today? What are we doing?
I feel like we have a panel today of very talkative individuals that can talk about anything for forever, which is good. This is
Good.
talk radio.
And
Yeah.
this is an important topic to talk
Yeah.
a lot about.
And
I think
as important as the Bears game is, I think it can wait on
Yeah,
account
yeah.
of the presidential election.
I think today our first thing we're going to talk about the election all day today. I
That's
think
the
the
only
first thing
thing.
that we should talk about maybe instead of getting into the meat about each person, maybe
Break
talk
it
about the
down.
electoral college. And there's
Break
been a
down how
lot of
he
debate
won.
this year as to the Electoral College. Should it still be here, or is the popular
Mm-hmm.
vote the best thing to go? We're going to break that down, and we'll probably all have different views, and we'll say why we think this and stuff. I've done a lot of research recently on this because of all the stuff that's come about.
I saw you on the bus just going in on the Electoral College.
Yeah, I was thinking about it and learning a lot, and I actually have a new whole perspective, because my perspective changed after doing research, not after...
Reading an article.
Yeah, or that Donald Trump got elected. I'm not going to be that one that's like biased, like, oh, he got elected. We can't change it now. It worked for us.
Accept it.
That's not what it was about. At first, I even think I said this last episode. I don't know if we should keep the Electoral College. I think it was as soon as last episode we were talking about that, and I didn't know if I agreed with it. But now I have a totally different aspect, thought process about it. Not really biased anymore, conservative or liberal for the Electoral College. So let's get into the Electoral College a little
So
bit.
break down how Trump won.
So basically, they say they haven't counted Michigan yet, all the way. This has been going on for weeks.
I was
or
going to
a
say,
week
people
now.
have, like,
Why?
left Detroit, which is pretty much the only place that has people.
Yeah, I've heard different things, and the final, if they count Michigan finally, if they finally count it, the total count will go from Clinton being 232 and Donald Trump would have 306. That's what it would
so
be.
he wins Michigan.
Yeah, if they count him winning it. They haven't
He's
counted it
leading
yet.
right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
he'll most likely win it.
Oh,
Yeah, it is a very close race there, but the fact that he's even winning that part is ridiculous, and we'll kind of get into that later on too. But let's just go to basics as far as Electoral College goes and what it is. So what is the Electoral College? Let's kind of go around and everybody explain to me what you think about it and what it is, and have you done research and stuff to kind of explain it?
Should I go first?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I will go first. In terms of the Electoral College, I've learned quite a bit about it. I don't know if I've done so much specific research like you had, but casually, and I've learned a lot about it. Basically, each state has several electoral votes, and once a president wins, well, the Electoral College is supposed to follow the popular vote of the state, but in some cases, the way the districts are broken down, the electoral votes can go slightly against the popular vote. Because I mean, one state, one city, like for example, in New Mexico, the city of Albuquerque has a lot of people, but that's only one district. Mm-hmm. So if the cities are really, really populated, it can cause the two to switch. But generally, if you win all the separate districts in, like for example, the state of New Mexico, if you win the separate districts, you win our 3 electoral votes, right? 5.
Well, yeah, 3 electors, 2 senators, or is it called senators?
Yeah.
So it's 5 total electoral votes that we get to cast.
That's right. So you win our 5 electoral votes from the state of New Mexico, and no matter how many, Hillary Clinton won New Mexico, so no matter how many citizens voted for Donald Trump, their vote does not matter, because Hillary, winner take all, took the entire state and took all the Electoral College, all of the votes. I believe there's 2 states in the United States that do not follow the winner take all. I think Nebraska's one, where I think they have 5, and then but one person can steal 1.
And Maine is another one.
Maine is the other.
So basically, how it works is, like what Cook was explaining, is that each state gets so many votes, and that's the actual real election.
Yeah, you get a slate of electors.
Yeah, and each state has a certain amount of votes they can cast. So the real election's in December.
Yeah.
And that's when the electors go, and there's 580, 560. There's 500 and something electoral votes total, and you have to get 270 in order to win the election as the president. And if you get above that line, then you're the winner. You're the next president. That's how that works. Each state gets a certain amount, how Cook was explaining. So that's exactly how it works.
So because in places where it's very rural and you have more, metropolitan cities, how does that essentially work? Because if the majority voted and the majority of the population lives in the metro areas, how does that break down?
Basically,
because
are you talking about like California?
I'm just saying like I'm using this example. The populace wants Clinton to win, but the rest of the counties outside the metro area want Trump to win. Yeah,
and no, it's based. So the popular vote in the state determines which way the electors will vote when they go.
Not just okay.
Yeah, the popular vote in the state by itself, the popular vote counts.
So state by state, in a sense.
Yeah, and basically you either get all the electors on one side or all of them on other. Basically, you're electing who your electors are supposed to vote for.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I get you.
For all except Maine and Nebraska.
Yeah, and those can split it based on population, who voted what a little bit. So
Okay.
that being said, all right, so let's get into kind of like the reasons behind this and why. And Makai, do you have anything to add on to the actual way the Electoral College works and stuff?
Well, you pretty much covered it, but the biggest thing is a majority of the population lives in just big cities. And so it helps a lot of the smaller states like New Mexico or even Montana or
Yeah, so
Nebraska, is that their voice makes a difference.
this is the real reason that it's like this ingenious system that was created so that the people that weren't in the most populated areas would have a voice. Otherwise, nobody would care about the middle of the United States and just go to California and New York and you win because they have that many more people in those states. So like for instance, California, Clinton won by 3 million votes in California.
Yeah.
But in New Mexico, I don't even know how many people voted. It was like 200,000 total that voted.
It's probably a little more than
Probably a little more than that, but
Probably
not
close
even
to a million.
Yeah, not even close.
Not.
I think it was like 500,000 to like 400,000, wasn't it? Something like that.
I don't know. I didn't know the exact.
But yeah, so
amounts.
regardless of how many, I mean, California has a lot of people, a huge population as well as a lot of land, and so, but no matter who wins it, I mean, no matter how much they win it by, the winner gets 55 no matter what.
And the reason they did this, the reason our founding fathers did this, is because lifestyles in different places were different. So the reason people are voting for a certain candidate in like the rural,
It's called the well-spoken and well-intentioned, is what you're kind of breaking down. It's someone who has, is well-spoken so they can speak for themselves, but their intentions what they're doing could affect someone differently. So, that's why they have the electoral colleges, because if someone lives a different life, like you were saying, it affects this person's life because they didn't have a voice.
Yeah, it's basically because in California, on the beach and stuff, they have a totally different lifestyle, and the reason they're voting for somebody is because it helps that lifestyle out better. It may make the other people's lifestyle in the rural areas worse.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that they don't live next to an ocean and stuff like that. It's so that one group of people, and it's basically so that it spreads out the power throughout the country, and that's why it works like this. And that's how our candidates go about it, looking to win state by state instead of just going into individual cities that have the most people and going there. That's why, so more people's voices can be heard. That's the technical reason. There's a lot of good videos that actually explain how it works and why it was created. I probably didn't do the best job of explaining it, but they're really in depth and they really do explain it really well.
I pick up what you're putting down, most definitely. It makes sense. It's just so, everyone can have a voice.
And what's interesting?
It just sounds terrible because when you consider the whole popular vote, they might win the popular vote, but they don't win the state by state.
Yeah,
And that's what makes sense to that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, and some people see that and they really overreact, and they start claiming like that the electoral college or the way that the state's set up can have like almost a gerrymandering effect, because I mean it should follow the popular vote. Like it's what you think about it, but it is a fair point that it should give power to those who kind of live in a lot of rural areas. I mean they need a voice too, and it should give them a voice. And so I mean. The system already, I mean, should we go around and talk about if we like it, if we are in favor of it, if we aren't?
Yeah, keep going on that point. I have another point to go on. Yeah, but do that. Let's go around and say why we like it and what makes it good for your perspective.
Personally, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it's a very sensible idea. I just think that I wonder why we don't make adjustments. I guess I should say they do make adjustments to the electoral votes that each state has, and I wonder because New Mexico used to have a couple more, right?
No, we got more now recently.
We have more now?
Yeah, we had 3 or 4, and now we're at 5.
Okay. Yeah, and so I think that's good. I think it needs to constantly be tweaked and adjusted a little bit to.
Yeah, no, actually, that's a good point because I had seen this recently. I didn't even think to bring it up, but like California, I think it was like 16 or 20 years ago had only 38 electoral votes, and then it went up to 44, and now it's at 55. So it goes up by population. It is based on population in a way.
Yeah.
However, Californians' votes count for like, what is it, like 100 I forget what exactly. Each electoral vote counts for the population about 120 people or
Really?
something like that. But in New
It's a lot
Mexico,
more than that.
yeah, but just based on like that, like New Mexico, each electoral vote counts as 400 people or something like that. So
Yeah.
it means
Yeah, all that means is in order to get adjusted quicker, is we would have to have a faster and more reliable census. To get a better update. It's just getting an update like on your phone. You just need census information because population does change consistently.
Yeah.
I know there is a mass migration from California due to the drought, due to the lack of jobs. So who knows? Maybe their number may be down now if we did a census of today. And other places I know, as like New Mexico, their population has grown. At least in Albuquerque, I think we're almost at over 1 million now compared to when I was a kid. That place,
Really, 1 million?
including Rio Rancho, we're like a little bit past 1 million.
I know Rio Rancho's like just past 100,000. I thought
No.
Albuquerque was around 500,000.
No, we're
Oh,
like
it's a lot bigger.
yeah.
I heard it's closer to 1 million too.
We're breaching onto like the Pueblo and reservation areas,
Dang.
running out of land.
yeah. we have one thing. I guess the biggest argument now is like Clinton should win because she has the popular vote. But there's a couple of things that go along with it that I would like to explain. I mean, it seems sensible enough that the person that has the most votes wins the election and is chosen by the people and stuff. But there's a couple of things that I would have to argue against that. I'll just kind of start going on that and we can just talk about it. One of the reasons that she wins the popular, or that somebody might win the popular vote but not the electoral vote, is because of the, what is it called? Each candidate goes to the cities based on their electoral college, right? So they go, like Donald Trump and Clinton, they both went to like every state over the whole year.
Yeah, you would have your resources dedicated to the areas that would be giving the most votes instead of coming to places like Albuquerque or Des Moines.
Yeah, so if you have like California, which is a population of a ridiculous amount compared to like other states, why go to those other states that don't even matter in the grand scheme of things?
I'd rather go to Texas and Mexico if I was a presidential candidate. If that was the case.
Yeah,
So,
they were talking about this on a show I was watching, and they said that the candidates would just go to Texas, California, New York, and like Florida, and that's it. That's all they would need to win.
Yeah.
Like the total. They would never talk to people in New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Wyoming.
I think they probably visit Iowa as well. Iowa's
Yeah. Any state that
Swing
has
state.
like over 2 million
Probably,
people.
yeah, I was gonna
Nevada's
say,
pretty divided too. Nevada could go either way.
Yeah, but it wouldn't matter because no matter how many votes they have, it will not
it wouldn't-
trump
yeah.
the amount of
A
popular
lot of people
votes.
in Vegas, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, like you.
No, he's right.
you just can't count the numbers compared to like California and Texas because
really
they have
can't.
too many.
Yeah.
It's not even possible. Another thing is too, not even half the country voted. So
Yeah.
that goes on.
Yeah, and human error is one thing I was kind of reading up on. Is that's the biggest reason why the founding fathers chose electoral college is because of people's trust. You really can't trust somebody enough to,
Say
Yeah.
a million and something, like where does that number even come
yeah,
from?
who counted this? Because then everything comes into questionability, and next thing you know, the credibility is at the stake for presidency. So electoral college kind of I think simplifies.
It does simplify it
everything.
a lot. It's like you have a tree
Mm-hmm.
like chart, and the tree on the top is all the population.
Yep.
And it goes to electoral college, and there's a lot less, and it's easy to see who's going where.
The pathways of communication are now shortened.
We know exactly how many
Yeah.
votes we need and stuff like that. It just
Instead of worrying
simplifies.
about this guy and that guy telling this person, telling that woman, I don't know.
Even people voting multiple times.
Yeah, lost to translation. You see, electoral college, it sounds crappy when your president candidate doesn't win, no matter what side you're on.
Which is why I was actually talking about it too. I was like, man, Donald Trump's probably going to get messed up in
Yeah.
this because of that.
Yeah.
But
Any other time, I think, if it's, any other race, I think it's not a big deal. It's just normal president candidacy.
And I think the biggest thing about this is that it's already over. And what
Yes.
happened is we knew the rules going into this.
it's not new.
But we can't change it after the fact. I
Yep.
think that's the biggest problem with it. If we're going to change this electoral college thing, it had to have been before the election. So I feel like this argument that we're having nowadays in our whole country is really invalidated. It's like if you go into a football game
It's useless.
and you know the rules, but at the end of the game, you lost because of those rules. You can't go back and change it now. That's just not how it works.
Sorry, Dallas Cowboys fans. It was not a catch.
You tell them that's right.
So I guess that's the biggest point I would like to make. also the fact that absentee ballots aren't counted, and they say that with the absentee ballot vote, Donald Trump wins by a lot more because everybody that's an absentee ballot is a military person, somebody that's overseas, and a lot of times in the numbers game, Donald Trump wins 69% to 30-something% in the absentee ballot, which is over 600 million. It's over like 800,000 people that are absentee ballots.
And most military are going to be conservative. So, I mean, you can kind of...
They said by the numbers, even if... They haven't counted them. They didn't count them at all. So if they did count them, this is where it would come into play, like who actually won the popular vote. And that's
if it was a closer race, then things like this would become more in a question.
Like I voted, but I'm an absentee ballot for New Mexico. The only way they count that is if it's a close race.
You know what? This might go off topic, but I have a push me around that kind of deals with this.
What's that?
The accessibility and to voting, just
the
voting
easiness.
It's just ridiculous. As a civilized country as we are, we're all about democracy. We make it so hard for people's voice to be heard. And, it comes out, people say, oh, just go out and do it, switch where you registered to vote at, switch your county. It's really not that, easy. The mail takes a couple days. We need to make this easier. And if Trump or someone else does this, I think, 1, it would increase the education of America. 2, it would make people more aware of what's going on. And 3, we'd have a better ran country.
So can I ask Rick what your position is on the voter ID laws? Because I mean, some people argue, some people from my own political party, I'm not saying this is my view, say that is another hoop that voters have to jump through in order to put their vote in.
100%, and I like to go with this at pointing at Sweden. Sweden, once you're 18 and you've been a citizen and whatnot of America, once you turn 18, you get your voter registration card right away. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to, go to some office or some person has to come to you. It's mailed to you when you're 18. And from that point on, until you turn, I believe, 21 or whatever, the next age of legality is in that country, that's when, you have to get another registration card. But again, it's mailed to you.
Yeah, and they want to encourage young people to vote. Yeah,
80%.
I like that.
80% of their citizens vote.
I get what you're saying as far as like it's so inaccessible and it's like paper type stuff that we go through to vote. But I'd also have to make the argument that it's a lot easier to vote than it should be. Like
in the sense of like who can vote and how you can get it.
All they do is ask you your name. So if you have the name of somebody that's dead, this has actually happened. People have voted for dead people before because all they needed was their name and what was it? Just their name and address.
I believe, Well, that's
all you need to vote. And so you could be an illegal immigrant, which has no
rights, happened,
and still vote, which is actually kind of skewing the whole graph in the sense that way.
And I can see where you're coming with that, but again, whenever someone cease to exist, passes away, you have to report it to the government. And so again, that would go with the government's obligation to give us, a card saying, okay, that he's dead, or a letter, Oh
yeah, no, so I'm not saying against that at all.
No, I know, but I'm saying how you could put this into it because I think that's an issue too. That's a massive issue because my grandfather had his identity stolen. It was easy.
It's super easy. Yeah, it's not even hard.
To hear someone, as an immigrant, regardless of where they're from, doing this, I mean, it doesn't sound absurd. Yeah,
not just an immigrant, but like people that aren't registered to vote at all. In this sense.
I don't know if that's a huge problem. It's not. Like
it's not the biggest.
They're bringing in 1 million votes from dead people. I mean,
but
that seems like kind of an extreme case.
It's not a huge problem, but I would just say that it's easy. That's the argument against the whole "it's hard to vote" thing. Is that it's actually really easy in some senses to vote. Too easy.
Update: New Mexico licenses are they're making a change, so now it can be federally legal.
Oh, so we don't have to get passports anymore to travel outside of our state.
We're now considered citizens by the rest of the United States.
So that's wonderful.
Yes, it's about time.
Quick update on that.
Might want to fill in a lot of people because when I moved to New Mexico, they thought I was moving to a foreign country.
Yeah, New Mexico's a state.
Right under Colorado.
Yeah, located between Texas and Arizona.
People in Chicago had no idea.
Really?
Well, not like no idea, but you just say New Mexico and they're like, where?
Yeah.
All they hear is Mexico.
Yeah, they just hear Mexico and they're like, so like, you know, are you like, do you have to, yeah, they like asked me, they're like, do you have to get your passport?
It's crazy
Like, do you
how
have
much-
to, you know, you have to make like this huge effort? Are you going to give up your citizenship? No.
How much has our education failed us growing up?
Thank
right.
God
In
for
the United
Mississippi.
They just need to put Albuquerque on the map.
Seriously.
Hey,
Somebody's got to do it.
But
Somebody has to.
I have a question.
I am
Huh.
in production.
Why don't they count absentee ballots?
Because, like, based on the number game
Time and
again,
resources.
if a person is winning by, let's say there's 100,000 absentee ballots that are cast, and without counting those ballots, they counted everybody else's ballots. One candidate's winning by 200,000. There's no need to count the absentee ballots because it's not going to change anything.
Gotcha.
That's the reason behind why they don't count it until it's needed.
Until you need to get the resources.
They would count it, however, if one candidate was only winning by 70,000, because there is a percent chance that one of the candidates can pull ahead because of the absentee ballots. Otherwise, there's no point, and it makes sense because there would be no point if the number games don't add up. It's really math. It's not something that you could debate.
It sounds terrible, you know,
Yeah.
because the people might not get their voice heard. But at the same time, it's just a numbers game and dealing with resources.
It's fact based,
Yeah.
not
Statistics.
not debatable. Yeah.
I just got an update based off of my comment saying thank God for Mississippi. Apparently it's Alabama that's below us, not Mississippi.
Below us in.
Education, like you said.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Either way.
Fun fact. Shout out to Sierra.
Yeah.
Alabama, New Mexico.
Thank you, Sierra.
We all need to know.
Let's go ahead and move on to the next thing, and we'll kind of get away from the Electoral College. If you have any more questions, go ahead and look it up for yourself.
With voters, just educate.
Hopefully we
Education.
didn't just go off air there. Okay, we're good. But yeah, go educate yourself and go learn about it. That's the biggest way to do it. There's a lot of videos that'll explain it. Very simple videos, not a whole lot to them.
YouTube.
Let's go ahead and go to reactions.
Huh.
Based on this will be a fun one because I know me and Makai were in here when it was happening. We were watching like play-by-play, like you would watch an NFL game.
I bet.
We had the states going because it was all gray at first, and each state would come in one at a time, and then we click on that state, and all the counties would come in, and we'd be like, "Which one's coming?"
There was one county, I think it was
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. They were fighting, and there was just one county that hadn't put anything.
And we go
0%.
blue, red, blue, red. We're like, yes, yes, no. It was hyped in here.
That's cool.
Because we're if you didn't know, I'm very hardcore conservative.
Very.
A little libertarian on the fact that I don't like government.
Go Austin.
That's my opinion. So
That's a pretty conservative ideal, though.
yeah. No, it is. It's based in conservatism.
Yeah.
That side of the libertarian part. So that's what I was, and then obviously you could tell that I was voting for Trump in that sense. Cook, what was your reaction? And what are you, and where do you stand
I
here?
am a very, very strong liberal.
Let's save Cook for the end because he's pretty much the only liberal in here. I really want to hear your reaction.
Okay,
Because
okay,
I know me and Makai.
Best for
kinda-
last.
Yeah.
Best for last.
Maybe the only liberal in Portales.
I really.
I've seen. There's more. There's.
I know two of you.
Yeah, you came to the wrong city, dude.
You're right, yeah.
I know two of you. But
Jenny
I'll-
would have helped me out there.
Yeah.
Makai, let's hear about you. What was your kind of anticipated reaction?
I wasn't surprised.
Really?
I wasn't surprised.
Okay.
I mean, my inner conspiratist, you
Okay,
know.
yeah.
You know, with all the WikiLeaks and stuff. If Hillary
Makai plays
really,
the devil's advocate.
if
all
Hillary
the time,
really
so.
did rig the DNC elections,
She did.
no one voted for Hillary against Bernie. Why would anybody vote for her against Trump?
Exactly. People were.
So that was your
Exactly.
theory on it.
So well, I just wasn't
It's a
surprised
good-
by the whole thing. I think if Bernie was the DNC like front runner, I think Bernie would have won.
No, Bernie
honestly.
wins this election 9 times out of 10.
like
He's
landslide.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
But
a lot of
he's-
people backed Clinton. Clinton
No.
had a lot of more
Well,
money in his
No,
campaign.
that's what you have there. You said the key word, money.
Oh, that's right.
The people of the United States wanted Bernie Sanders. I can say this because I mean I've looked into this. This is ridiculous. He sold out stadiums.
Yeah.
Hillary wasn't selling out stadiums. She was selling out county,
Oh,
fairgrounds.
she was selling out stadiums.
not like Bernie,
Not like Bernie. I mean, Bernie drew a lot of
but he
crowd
didn't
from young
get
people.
money.
But yeah.
And that's the biggest thing, and that's why rigged.
Another thing too is that anybody that was going to vote for Bernie probably didn't even vote in the first place. It's all college kids that are too
You
lazy
can-
to even go out.
No, that's why you can thank the third party. The third party saved America from getting a killer elected.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's
The third party.
That's
I
a
think
strong
that's a trigger
accusation
word
right
for
there.
Cook.
That is a strong accusation there. When it is proven in court, and then
Yeah.
you can use that.
And
that
no one lied on
phrase.
the Bible before.
Huh?
And no one lied on the Bible before.
When they prove it in court, you can use that, and you can call her.
Oh yeah,
or
you're
whatever you
right.
want.
You're right. You know, people don't lie. It's impossible.
when
Well-
they prove it in court.
What was your opinion on the election?
Honestly, I was pretty kind of blown away because I voted Gary Johnson, and I was pretty blown away. I mean, obviously, I knew Gary Johnson probably didn't stand a chance, but I wanted to see where he stand, and I voted because of my morals, and I respect the process. But when it came out to the overall outcome, it's funny. My brother called this exact thing like a month ago, so I had an idea, but I was so surprised because I thought Hillary was going to run away. Michigan, Wisconsin. I thought all those places were definitely Hillary, and especially Pennsylvania. That's what kind of got me. I was like, no. But once I saw, Florida drop and North Carolina, I believe, I was like, this is really happening. Really happening. And my brother called everything play-by-play.
Yeah,
Adam
really.
Ornelas.
Well, Trump's like plan of attack. He was going to get the belt of Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, and the Democrats were like, "There's no way."
Yeah.
And so they
we thought there
they took
was
him for
no
granted
way.
in a sense, and then that's what killed him in the end.
I wasn't alive the last time Pennsylvania went red.
It was mind-blowing.
Yeah, that was crazy to me.
That
too.
was nuts. And then now looking
But
back
again-
at it, it's like, wow, okay, that's kind of predictable, but...
Yeah, also, I want to have to say that the media screwed everything up for everybody, and I will never listen
Great
to any
point.
media source ever again on the freaking
Conservative
news.
or liberal.
Nobody has my respect anymore for
None.
media except for my own research from now on out. That's where I stand on this. So go ahead and go on your point.
Okay, Cook's turn. I was very, very sad. My girl went down, and
Yeah.
Your girl.
yeah, that's right. And I watched Florida go down, and that was a heartbreaker. And then I watched Pennsylvania go down, and that was it.
Let me ask you a question. What were you feeling like pre-decision results?
Complete honesty, I think myself and a lot of people
Who voted
from
for
the
Hillary?
Democratic Party really. I mean, it is weird as this to say, and honestly, I don't mean any offense by this, but we didn't take Trump seriously.
Oh, yeah, well,
No one did.
Nobody
I mean,
did. Not even the Conservative Party.
I mean, I thought he was way too radical to win the popular vote. I mean, well, he didn't win the popular vote, but he's way too radical to be elected. I mean,
Yeah.
I just thought, with all the scandals and stuff and all the things that he said, don't believe me, there's scandals on both sides, but I just didn't think he would win the female demographic.
You
like
just thought
did.
he had the worst side of the scandals?
I with my own values, I wouldn't support that. But like, I couldn't see how a lot of women in this nation would support a man who had said things like that.
Most definitely.
I
That's
understand.
what a lot of people thought. I mean, if you're a logical thinker...
Well, here it goes back to the news part of it. And this is...
Hold on. There was a thing.
News.
I remember seeing this. Like, it was broken down by demographic.
Mhm.
You think we could find that? You have control of the computer.
Yes, let me know what you're
based
looking
on gender demographics, based on who voted for who. Because I remember there was a strong support by female women, a lot bigger than I thought.
Yeah.
For Mr. Trump, and I really didn't expect that at all. That caught me off guard quite a bit. I don't know.
No, it makes sense that it caught you off guard. I think it caught everybody off guard that was listening. This is where the media has gone wrong and will no longer be. This is, I think, the best part about this election is that our media, now everybody knows the media is untruthful. The fact
I think that
it
it was his voice on there.
that's not what I'm...
But
not
let's
what
say
I
this.
mean.
Let's say this.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that.
Me and Austin have always talked about this. How many times in the locker room, not saying yourself, but others around you, and they called it locker room talk. How many times have you heard stuff like this?
We're referencing the Donald Trump sexual harassment talk
About
is what we're
talking-
talking about.
and
If you're listening,
yes.
this is
Grab
what
her
we're
by
talking about.
the
Yeah.
fill in the
You
blank.
can fill in the blank there.
Right in the... No.
Okay, moving on.
But, I mean...
we've heard a little bit.
Let's be real.
We
How-
play
what have we
football,
heard?
But we've heard some. But there's a difference between college kids in Portales, New Mexico, and renowned political figures like Mr.
man's
Trump,
a man,
or
dude.
renowned businessmen.
No, it is
Renowned
true.
businessmen. You just can't be saying stuff. Like
There, he definitely shouldn't have said it. And I don't think anybody should say it, but I never cuss anyways, so I wouldn't say things like that. And I'm not trying to say like
Yeah, and
I'm
I
self-righteous or anything like
I hope
that.
none of
at all.
us here say things like that, even in our own locker room. But
I've heard it.
we've
it's
heard it around.
It's not something you can hope for. It's just what it is. It's there.
There's actually one person in this room that would be. No.
Gosh dang it, Cook.
We all know it's you, Cook.
It's not
I was
Cook.
referring to Mackay. No.
Not Cook.
We found
If
that
we-
recorder,
if we-
Makai. We know you're recording our conversation.
If we want to point the finger here, I got a lot of firepower.
I'm still waiting for nothing.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep moving on.
Anyway.
Where's that punchline?
Yeah, nowhere.
Hit us with it.
Okay, so I can't really find that. But to kind of show you the U.S. population versus female, it's female outnumber men. They control 59.9% of the population. So I can see where you can draw this assumption, and I feel like anyone can draw that assumption. That how was Trump going to get that?
That's what the media really. They took a hold of this and acted like it was the only thing that mattered. And I think that's where they went wrong, because they drew every conclusion off of this one thing. Mm-hmm. And that's where everything went wrong for them, is because you have to look at every single thing for every candidate. You can't look at the individual aspects of the bad and only use that to publicize this. Even with Hillary Clinton, you can't use, and for me, I ate a lot of Fox News stuff and media outlets that are very conservative, so they're always pushing the negative for Hillary. And that's all you hear on those things. And if that's all you hear, of course you're going to assume one thing over the other. Mm-hmm. But the fact of the matter is, there's a whole. We were name calling in these debates with the candidates. They were name calling. They didn't mention any policies.
No.
But I think the smart people that went out and voted actually looked at the policies. And that's what made the difference, because the policies on both sides were not really they weren't publicized at all on any news network. I mean, they were here and there, but that wasn't the big story. The big story was the negatives.
I think,
and that's what screwed everything up for everybody.
To add on to what you're saying, I think they did the same thing with minorities. With him shaming the Islam, the Muslims and the Mexicans, they just focused on those two things. And I know a lot of minorities that voted for Mr. Trump. So, a lot, from Asian to African American to Spanish,
and all the sound bites and all the little videos that you hear, everything is taken out of context. Yeah. So if anybody does any research, you'll know that both candidates aren't that radical. You'll know exactly what they were talking about when they say that. But if you take them out of context and you see all the bad stuff each person has said in a line out of context, it's going to sound like the worst person in the world.
Worst.
And that's what everybody thought about each candidate on both sides.
So I have a question, and if you guys don't mind me picking your brain, you guys who are kind of slamming the media here, but so you don't trust, you don't trust any media at all anymore.
Not anymore.
Take it with a grain of salt, and I think that's the best way to put it.
Well, hold on. I got one point here, but you guys believe what you see on WikiLeaks.
Well, no, not either. Both of them.
Everything comes into question. It's just what you take it in.
Everything. Who writes those? First of all,
that's a question. That's a huge question.
And who writes the things on? Who WikiLeaks? Writes the teleprompter on the news as well? So we got to kind of examine both and take it with a grain of salt.
That's where you have to use multiple sources, and that's why one source is never good enough. And that's the way it is with anything. I mean, if you have multiple sources to draw information,
or you just go to the main source and actually look for yourself, watch the actual videos at each convention,
go on each candidate's website, where they specifically state their policy.
But don't watch the highlights. Don't ever. That's another thing too. That's what the media always does. They watch the highlights and they promote those as fact, and that's all that mattered in that. Convention or whatever. So if you go to Donald Trump's thing, watch the whole thing. Watch you see that clip that says they're bringing their killers, their rapists, the people. He was talking about Mexico and stuff like that. But before that, he was referencing illegal immigrants and the fact that the cartel was taking advantage of them, and he was talking about those kind of people taking advantage of other people, and also the good people that were getting involved, that were getting taken advantage of. But that's what he was referencing, so you can't take that out of context. And all they show on the media is they're bringing their rapists, their awful people, and stuff like that. And that's all you saw. And if you didn't watch the original thing, of course you're gonna think, yeah, he's an awful man. And that's
just education. I think that's the key to this.
Go to the source, and if they don't have the source, go to every single.
Educate yourself, and this is why we started the show. Education is key.
I mean, what do you think, Cook, on the whole idea with the media and stuff?
On that particular point, at the end of the day, the words did come out of his mouth. And I know they were pulled out of context a little bit, but if you say that rapists are coming up from Mexico, regardless, you're going to catch some flack from that.
Oh, no, it's true. It's true, but is it something that we needed to hear? Or is it something that was just left out and finally somebody said something about it?
It was part of one of his speeches, right?
Well, again, part of the thing... And I saw this stat somewhere. This was way early in the whole campaigning thing.
Yeah.
It's 80% of female illegal immigrants are raped by illegal male immigrants.
Yeah, And in that sense, he was right when he said that.
And now he definitely came out wrong 100%. He said it wrong, but
I'm not backing up what he said. I'm not backing up what he said and how he said it. I'm backing up the ideas behind what he was talking about.
Okay.
Not necessarily and I think that's what you got to do with all these politicians and political figures is you can't take them at the actual literal thing that they're talking about. And that's what everybody did. That's what the media did, and they blew it out of proportion, which is why it came out the way it did, I think.
Okay, one more question.
Yeah.
On our radio show, aren't we considered part of the media right now?
Oh,
And
yeah.
when we share statistics like that, do we have a duty to fact check them, or should we follow the example that the rest of the media shows and not fact check?
No,
and
what
just
you
share
should do if you're
statistics?
listening to this,
Fact check.
Yeah,
always.
definitely fact check
Fact
us.
check.
We're not saying we're 100% right. We've
I'm
said
going to
this-
say don't go for your information
Yeah.
to us. We don't know anything.
If you're using our arguments in a political debate, yeah.
I'm not going to support you.
I mean, like, I'll agree with you because obviously they might be mine,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to be like, yo, this dude's 100% right.
And this is the thing, too, is a lot of media outlets take their information as fact.
And they take their sources from another source, and they all have the same source, and it's a big confusion tree, and it's all about, again, education, finding your sources, finding the source.
And that's
You
what the
know.
media is taking advantage of is our laziness. And
Yep.
we are lazy. Everybody's
No
lazy.
doubt about it.
We're Americans. That's what's happening. That's what's been happening.
Obesity.
The hard truth of the matter is we're lazy. And
World
so,
Diabetes Day.
yeah.
You see?
And this is what the media is taking advantage of. When they say something, they expect you to take it as the whole truth, which you shouldn't do, and which if you're smart enough, you wouldn't. And I think all of us can agree on that part.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
is there anything else that you'd want to, before we go into commercials here, anything we want to kind of address? Any points you think that you can make real quick before we go?
I
that
would
we missed
like to
out on?
say I'm not completely against the media. I did enjoy their coverage of the election.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying don't watch
I think the
it. It is
coverage
fun.
of the election is that part was at least truthful.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I hope
we
so.
all,
You-
we all agree on that.
You can't actually go wrong, like in those situations where it's like numbers game.
Yeah.
It's totally cool. Yes, go for it.
I'm watching Fox News to figure out who wins the Super Bowl. Yeah. But when it comes to certain subjects, yeah, maybe I'm going to look somewhere else.
You're not watching the Super Bowl?
I'm saying, like, I'm just
What?
using this as an example.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe they
no,
don't
it's
have it in, Europe. one
definitely. I understand what you're talking about. I mean, we use they are a news source, but I'm saying from my personal feelings,
You're talking
now-
about like talk shows and things like that, right?
Yeah, do not take talk shows as fact. That's not the point of the talk show. The talk show is supposed to be entertaining, and they do present facts. They do. I'm not going to get... But don't take everything as fact. Kind of do some research on top of it. It's
grain
it's
of
not...
salt.
Yeah, it's... We can't take
Right.
everything... Like, it's... People these days have gotten to where the internet... We can't trust anything on the internet, but people quote the internet so much, and it's crazy how
That's
that
right.
works out.
Yeah, people quote Twitter and Facebook.
That's now a legitimate media source, which sounds crazy, but it's a legitimate media
a lot
source.
of conspiracy theories get spread around on Facebook. A lot
Yeah.
of distant
Well, let's
relatives
break,
like share them and stuff, and I just look at this like, what?
Yeah, no, it's true, and that's the problem with America. We got to get back to the point of actually doing our own research and looking at our own stats for real without...
Yeah.
education.
I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and go to commercial now. Go to
Yes.
commercial break.
Commercial.
We'll be
How
back
long
in a
are these
minute.
Usually, just like a minute.
I think, are we working here?
My preference, it's money. It's money.
From the channel that brought you Greyhound Sing, Tied Up Improv, and Sam Squad. Coming this winter,
No, man, it's like outside, girl.
hilarious sketches,
If he does not pay me, bad things will happen to you. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to say your last words.
movies, special effects, and tutorials.
Can I have my hat back? Can you have? It's right there. Out of all the things that you could want. To your left. Why not? The orange one. Yeah, I can see it.
I Am New Productions. Subscribe on YouTube.
All right. Well, we are back. I got one more little commercial here. Go check out the guys over on the O Sports Show. They deliver sports news as well as their own twists on hot topics and takes. Check them out on Instagram and Twitter at O Sports Show and on Facebook at facebook.com/O Sports Show. Find all of their shows on their website, osportsshow.com.
Check them out.
Yeah, go check them out, guys. They have a lot of
Yeah.
interesting stuff to say. Steven Steele played this week. He got
Yes.
on the special teams.
Attaboy,
He was just
shout out
texting me.
Stavi.
Yeah, man.
He's the New Mexico
Congratulations.
man, right?
New Mexico man. He's doing big
was.
things
That
out there.
happened a few
Attaboy,
weeks ago.
Stavi.
Cleveland High School.
Yeah, you guys played with him.
I
Makai.
personally didn't, but Makai did.
Okay, yeah, you guys were.
We played with him.
we played against him
And with him.
on the North-South game.
Real
Yeah.
thing.
Well, and at Eastern, Austin. Did you forget that?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's, yeah, he was my roommate too. So that's
Not a
another
big deal.
thing.
But shout out those guys that do a great job out there at sports. You know.
Scott Ostrowski. That's the guy, the man.
Scott
the
was
myth.
my neighbor. in
Was he
high
really?
School, yeah.
Oh, nice.
That's a cool
yeah, a
name.
bunch of cool guys. Go check out
got
Scott
a
and the
good
guys
show.
on the O Sports Show.
Give him a listen.
Yeah, we got another thing too. I'm gonna kind of mention this now is our new business, Easy Tees.
Easy.
If you have any promotional or any ideas for promotional T-shirts, you have a team, you have a family reunion,
Sports,
go
anything.
check us out soon. We're not up yet. We will be. Easy Tees. Keep that in mind, just in the back of your head. That's all. I have to
Intramural
say.
We
season.
have great
Yeah,
prices. We can see what we can do for you. We're up for negotiation.
Well, yeah.
Just come and talk to us.
Original sales type.
Yep.
Yeah. So
we
if
got
you
our
need-
graphic designer on deck, Austin Patterson,
Yes.
best in the game.
That's me.
Look him up.
Let's go ahead and go to real quick. We have our last topic. I guess we're going to talk about the riots.
The riots, kind of
The
the general
rioting that's
reaction of what's going on right now with the Trump being elected, Mister.
From the liberal
Donald Trump.
perspective,
Yeah.
it is
Let's
not
hear it,
good.
yeah.
It is not good.
Can you explain, like, would you join these riots?
I personally, I would protest.
Mm-hmm.
I would protest. I mean, if there was a
That's
Trump
a better
Tower
word. Protest,
in
yes.
yeah.
Protest.
Yeah.
in Portales, I probably would. I'd log a couple hours out there with a picket sign. I mean, I was not happy with the way this election turned out. But at the end of the day, I do respect our voting system, and I will respect him as our new leader. But I can protest, all of those people who, especially young people who said that, never Trump, but didn't actually go out and vote. I think
Yeah.
that's a lot about
No, that's totally
that,
fair.
That
I
comes
agree.
with the message.
Totally.
That
I
What
mean,
would you hope to achieve with the
protesting.
protest if you were to protest? Because that's, like, for me, one of the harder things to grasp.
The actual point of it.
Yeah.
I think that's the
Because,
like,
like, you
seeing
said,
the light at the end of the
'cause,
tunnel
like
of what
you,
you're
like
doing.
you said, you've already accepted it, but you'd go out there and protest. Like, what would you hope to achieve?
I think you would hope to show like a massive grouping or gathering of people.
Okay.
To like gives a message. No matter what it is. I mean, it does send a strong message, just the sheer amount of people. But if you come into a process with a strong message telling people, this is what happens when you don't go out and vote, when you voice your policies to your friends and on Facebook, but you don't actually use your, exercise your civic duty and vote, this thing can happen. So I guess, like, I wouldn't be protesting against Trump,
Awareness, as
but
much?
I guess I would be protesting with a cause behind me like
Okay.
that, to increase vote. I guess.
Yeah, no, that's totally
what's the
understandable.
word?
Yeah.
I mean, something like that. But a lot of the riots, I think people get angry, and I think people push things too far.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the some of the movements that go on kind of get people, angry and stuff. And then I think I don't know. A lot of people in one area can get kind of crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Stuff can happen.
Yeah, no, it's
Sometimes-
true.
And
You want to go
yeah.
around like that, Makai? What do you think about the riots?
With the riots,
Yeah.
I tweeted this a long time ago when the Baltimore riots were happening.
Uh-huh.
I was like, when I'm mad at my parents, I don't burn down my half of the house.
I mean, it's very true because where are they rioting?
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense a lot of times because those states that they're rioting in voted the way they wanted it to.
It
So
just
I mean,
didn't
and
go through.
by going what Cook said though, in his purpose, that wouldn't be the point of doing the protest,
That'd be a proper
which would be
protest.
perfect. But I don't think that's their reasoning behind
Nope.
it.
But the way Cook made it sound, it's almost like he's protesting these protesters.
No,
Like,
no, I'm not protesting.
he
in
should say
some
they-
way, he's like, hey, let's protest because for this reason, not just because we're hurt that our candidate lost.
Well, I think a lot of people are hurt that their candidate
Well,
lost,
yeah,
and I
of
think a
course.
lot of people, draw up a sign and go out in the street, and then run around in Trump Tower and stuff like that, and try to, I think they're mad, and I don't think they know how to fix this.
Let me say this to that is this is the exact reason why people voted for Trump. And it's
Really?
let me hear me out. Hear me out.
Elaborate.
It's because you have these proper protests like you wanted, like you would be a part of, or the ones that are going on. But then you have these ones that turn into riots. And again, what does the media show? They don't show the peaceful protest in Chicago, taking place.
There's plenty of them. There's a lot of peaceful protests.
Exactly.
Going on.
What is the media showing?
They show the riots in, I'm not saying Baltimore, but places like that, where was it? I think in L.A., even in New Mexico, public damage was taking place. And when you show this on the media aspect consistently to its viewers, the viewers are going to start thinking, wow, maybe we really do need to make an adjustment. And that's what, sways their vote. Yeah. Is this, out of action, out of emotion type stuff.
And it gets out of control. And I mean, all of the protests have started out with a good logical reason as to why they're protesting. But then this is the problem. You can't control people in general.
Nope.
Especially young people that don't actually know what they're doing.
And some people, who may, have pure of heart intentions and walk out there with a message, like you said, can be joined by other people who do not have pure of heart intentions, who see a mass amount of people as a mob to hide in or as a way to get away with a crime or something like that. And, that's never good. But you got to hope that a majority of the people out there, are pure of heart and have a good intentions. You got to hope that, a peaceful protest can be successful with a larger amount of those people.
Yeah, no, and it should be. And that's the biggest problem. It only takes a couple of them to start these problems.
That's right, yeah. And then, the entire protest, even though there may be, good people in the middle of those riots, I mean, the entire protest gets slandered by just the actions of a couple.
See, I can totally see your point, especially the one you made about why you would protest and what's the point of it. I don't know if that's the reason, and that's the real reason they started protesting in the first place this time. My whole view on it was, what I got out of it was like, these protesters are protesting the system and that it's rigged and things like that. And for me, I don't think that was the problem I think it was the problem with the voter turnout, and they should be protesting their own people.
Yeah.
And the fact that they didn't come out to actually vote in the first place.
Yeah. I think, like you were saying, going out there the next time to let them know that this can't happen again, to show the unrest by the masses. And when a protest like that goes out, go do it. It's your right.
Yeah.
But what does it look like now? Yes. What do we see?
And I think a better timing for the protest would be in 3.5 years or 3 years.
Agreed. 100% agree. If he does a bad job, please. And I would probably be out there next to you. Like, why did we do this? I voted Gary Johnson.
That's right.
And what do the protests look like to the outside people now? They just look like it's a whining.
It looks angry, disgruntled.
Yes.
It just looks
a
like
sore loser.
Yes. That's
the problem.
But,
that's the only coverage we're getting on them, though, right?
That is
also
also
want to go
true.
back to media.
Yeah, exactly. The media,
they're showing that because they get paid by ratings.
It's true.
And that's going to get people to watch.
That's the problem, and everything goes back to money and
eventually. Resources. In 3 years, I want to see those same people, with those same signs.
It's true.
I want to see starting a movement to get people out to the polls, so that a turnout like this doesn't happen again. Hey, Jason.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. It's really
but way to back that up, because that's really been pissing me off. I'm not gonna lie, these protests, because
I just don't see the point in it.
Yeah, but you can't change
the way
it.
you brought it about made a lot.
But
of
if
sense.
that's how it was created and that's how it started, go do it. I'm all for it. Go raise a voice.
That's right.
Go
the problem is you got to make sure that. I guess the best way to run a protest like that would be like, all right, if you're not here for these specific reasons, leave. We don't want you. You might get less turnout.
Well, you do want
a
lot of people. Will send a stronger message. I think if you can gain celebrity support or public figure support, resources, I think that can definitely help. And if that person is well spoken and pure of heart, that can have a tremendous effect. And
it could
swaying people.
But I mean, these ideas like the person that has to be pure. It's hard to find these people, and that's the problem. I think.
Well, and I think what's really cool is, I mean, I don't know if any of you heard of Pusha T. He's a rapper. Yes, but he hosted before the election. He hosted several benefit concerts trying to get young people where if you voted, or if you did like early voting, you could go to the Pusha T concert. Right?
Chance the Rapper did one as well too. Yeah. I loved what he did. His whole campaign for voting, register.
That's right. Yeah. Register, get your voice heard. Exercise your civic duty.
Yep.
And I think even though Pusha T aligned with Miss Clinton. And I think a lot of people can say that it was really good what he was doing, trying to get young people out to vote.
Hey, Cook, I'll give you like $20 to walk out down this street of this conservative town with a picket sign, trying to show your support.
We know how people.
I think I'm the only one in Port Dallas who doesn't own a gun. So.
I'm a proud registered NIR member.
I am not registered, and that one I could raise some security signs if I do walk down the street to the picket sign.
You got needles,
Well,
though.
we got about 50 seconds here left in the 10th episode of The Pit. So we'd like to thank everyone who came and listened, and now to give our shout-outs.
Also, thanks to our guests. Thanks for coming out.
Yes, thank
guys.
you,
It was
Cook,
really
and
awesome.
thank
You're
you,
very welcome.
Makai.
I had a good time.
Real quick,
Where can you
just
find The
happened to
Pit
be
at,
in the
Austin?
area.
The Pit, we got Twitter at _pit_radio. We got Instagram at pit_radio and Facebook at facebook.com/thepitshow. Go check us out,
Go
guys.
follow us. Please go spread the message.
We're going to try and get a lot more people involved. That's
Yeah.
the goal here.
And a quick shout out to I Am New Productions. If you want to plug them in real quick, Austin, again, our producing company.
I Am New Productions. Go check us out. We got a lot of stuff coming up, especially next semester. It's going to be crazy.
Big time. Oh, and the Hounds made a bowl game.
We made a bowl game.
We're going bowling.
We're going bowling.
Going bowling.
Thank you. Have a good one.